In our last session, the party wrapped up a few days of downtime in Phandalin, with Paramon and Louis studying the journal of Lunalia's father, Nasandral Nightmist. Did I say that right?
Nice and roll.
They learn he was working to construct a permanent nexus between elemental planes in a now lost demiplane. They find mentions of a few of his colleagues and a cryptic warning of a mysterious Crimson Order who apparently pursued them. The party learns of the nearby city-state of Dralamar's growing interest and influence in Phandalin, finding bounties placed on both the White Dragon as well as Madric. That evening, they encountered a colorful group of dragon slayers that had arrived in town to hunt the White Dragon, with Rogar giving them somewhat misleading directions to the dragon's last location. That night, Scribble finds an injured Talisa in his room. She warns him that her former order, the Shadesworn, a group of misguided, fanatical followers of the Raven Queen, believe Scribble is an aberration who stole a fragment of their god's power. The following day, the party accompanied Paramon into the Trezendar crypt to retrieve more of Albrecht Volker's notes. While inspecting the crypt, Louis hears an unsettling voice in his head. That's where we'll pick up today. So I have the map set on the crypt just to remind everyone of what it looks like. And we left off in the main chamber itself. The lidded sarcophagi surrounding you. The flicker of just a few lit candles. The remnants of blood, dried blood in the shape of a arcane circle surrounding a simple stone altar, and Louis going suddenly stiff as a voice speaks to him in his head. Louis, make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Your Windows on your settings, Poker.
Thank you. You feel the voice echoing around the corners of your mind, but you manage to stay conscious and in contact with the world around you. As you hear this voice echoing hello in your mind, what do you think Louis' outward appearance would be? What is he doing while this is happening? Would the others notice anything?
Yeah, because he'll talk back to the voice. Definitely, stiffened up as soon as he heard it. And then he'll begin kind of like pacing, like on the carpet. You know, like when you're on a phone call and you're just kind of like wandering aimlessly. Bonjour. Hello, my name is Louis. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
And you're saying this out loud?
Yeah.
Paramon immediately snaps around and stares intently at Louis.
And I'm just kind of like staring like off, into the upper left-hand corner or something, like obviously not talking to them.
Like you're on the phone with customer service or something. Like everybody's kind of looking around the room and you're just chatting away on your little call there. I haven't had a friend in some time. So good of you to grace my home with your presence. Tell me.
As of now, the pleasure is all mine. Sorry, I did not get your name.
My name is not important anymore, for I am not what I once was. Tell me, do you know of what my prior friend, the one who no longer draws breath, do you know of his work here. Would you be willing to help continue it?
You know what? I am so sorry to be such a stickler, but it's easier if I have something to refer to you. In some way, like if I need to get your attention. What do you think? What should I call you?
You may call me the guardian of this place, the keeper of secrets, the master of lost knowledge.
Okay, I'm not trying to be difficult, I promise. But that is just a little bit. It's wieldy. Wieldy, do you say? Yeah, it doesn't have um, like I'm Louis, right? It's very easy. What should I? Is there something that's better than just these list of titles?
Just call
Lunalia's
me.
sort of made her way over to you with her head tilted, like, who are you talking to?
Just call me the keeper for now.
D'accord. Okay, I'm so sorry. Keeper. Oui. So what? So what are you doing? What's up?
What's up?
I require your help.
That does not sound. What do I get in return? I don't. Why would I? You won't even tell me your name, and you ask me for help. Come on.
I am the keeper of lost secrets. That is the only name that remains. I need your help in opening a door. The door to my realm that lies beneath this place. I was trapped here long ago by the one who built this tomb. And I long to be free, to let my knowledge into this world. You like knowledge, do you not? You crave it, you seek it. It is your life's purpose to learn. I offer you many, many secrets known to none but me.
Oh, this sounds fascinating, Monsieur Keeper. What is open a door to a realm? What realm is to where exactly?
If you speak of planar cosmology, I exist on your plane, in a manner of speaking. Just imprisoned, locked away, beneath.
So you are behind a door, and you would like me to open this door so that you can get out and be here with us. Oui?
I will remain where I am, but my knowledge will flow into your world. So much knowledge, so much to learn. I have great things to teach you and perhaps others.
So you desire to be free so that you can teach. This is very noble.
Yes, I suppose it is.
Is there anything else that you will be accomplishing once you are free? Any other desires that you have besides spreading your knowledge?
I wish to collect more. It is, you might say, a hobby of mine. To collect what others know. My library is vast, but not infinite. I seek to expand it.
Interesting. So if I were to assist you by opening this door, would there be any risk of harm to me or to my friends?
My new friend, I do not know, for I am not certain of what the one who imprisoned me here has put between us. I am sure there is some risk, as there always is with such things. But I'm sure you're up to the challenge. You seem a intelligent sort. For if you were not, we would not be having this conversation. Paramon is just staring at you, by the way, and he looks around the room, kind of looks to Linalia, and his bushy eyebrows lower slowly. I do not think we should be here. There is something, some presence I can feel, but I believe he can hear.
Louis,
Come.
ask him about Albrecht. Ask him what he did to him.
So do you know what happened to your previous contact here in this material plane? Is that what you call it? I do not even know. What do you call it where we are? You are not.
An unfortunate end at the hands of your friends. It was not my intent. Unfortunately, poor Albrecht's mind was an unsuitable vessel for such communications as these. He went mad. Something that brings me great sadness. If I had known, I would not have reached out to him. You, however, do not seem so frail. Perhaps you will fare better.
So this person was not able to withstand what you put them through, but you believe that I would be.
Yes. Louis?
Interesting.
Louis, who are you speaking with?
I'm speaking with the keeper, Pergamon. One moment, please. Monsieur Keeper, I have to go. This has been lovely. We will return. I just need to think about some things. I can just come back here and I can speak with you if I need to.
I await your return eagerly. To come back, my new friend. I think you have much to learn from me, and I from you.
I do believe that to be true. Talk soon. Ciao. And I'll motion everyone else and I'll walk out of that room.
Chow, are we eating some? I thought we just ate. She's saying this to Scribble.
I think I'm not the only one who sees weird things.
I don't know what the hell is going on.
I'm just gonna head out of this tomb. Like I'm not even like waiting for these guys or whatever. I am exiting back to where they're from. Like,
as soon as you start moving for the door, Paramon begins to usher the others out as well. We should be going. Come, let's discuss what's happened away from listening ears. And he's looking worriedly at Louis. All the way out. Up to the surface. Let's go. do you guys follow him all the way out of the crypts and back to the surface?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Louis, you can't help but feel that you have unfinished business here. Like, it's not. There certainly isn't a charm spell or anything at effect, but there is an unnatural. You have an unnatural interest in this place. Beyond your usual curiosity, and in that you find that itself curious.
You guys, there is something down there, for sure. I tried to get his name, but he would not give it to me. He said to call him the Keeper, and listed off some other super vague titles, probably self-appointed. I don't know. But he wants me to open a door so that he can get out. He was imprisoned, it seems, below this place, below this crypt, by the architect, by whoever made it. And I do not know anything more. So he drove Monsieur Volker mad. But he thinks that he wouldn't drive me mad, which, come on, this is very hard to believe. I do not trust this guy at all. I hope that you do not think that I was going to make a deal here. No, I just was getting information, and no, this guy's full of shit, right?
Quite. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if. Well. I wouldn't be surprised if nothing he said was true. But it is curious.
When Louis was saying that, for an insight check.
Are you insight checking Louis' honesty, or are you insight checking, what he's conveying to you? Like, are you taking him at his word and insight checking what the content, or are you insight checking his delivery of
it? His delivery of it, him saying that he wouldn't betray us or that stuff.
How about this, Louis? Feel free to whisper me a roll if you were not being honest. I'll give it a 10 count, and otherwise, I'll tell you what.
I was not being dishonest in the things that I was saying to the group.
Yeah, and I think with a 15 scribble, you're fairly certain that at least he believes what he's saying.
Excellent.
It seems to me that anyone with any sort of higher intelligence, learning, study, is probably not safe here. And Paramon, that would include you.
Precisely why I did not intend to stay here. I've got what I need, and you can see he's got an armful of some scrolls and a couple books tucked under his arms. We should go. Across town might be far enough. I would like to keep an eye on Lenine as I study these. Now that I've seen firsthand that something beneath this place touches minds, I would like to make sure that she is safe from it. This will take me some time. Feel free to help, or, I don't know, find something to do while I decipher all of this. I think last session you had all gone into Albrecht's study in here, and he'd looted a few things of seeming importance. You know, some journals from prior years and some other notes and things off of the shelves. And so, armed with that, it's going to take him some time. He looks about and kind of looks off into the distance, thinking for a second, turns back and says, I feel confident I can solve the puzzle of how to get into whatever is beyond this place. The question is, do we want to? Are we letting something out as opposed to, well, I don't know, but we should be cautious. Clearly there's an intelligent mind beyond this barrier. Something ought to be trifled with.
But we cannot just leave it here, you know. Obviously, it's been put away, and it's been put away for some reason, but it is not all the way away. It still has influence, so we cannot leave this as is. We must do something one way or the other.
What did he call
Well, I
himself?
think for now.
Hmm?
I think for now it's safe with Deebs and Gariel building the temple on top of it. But I agree, it will need to be dealt with.
Why does everyone think that building a church on top of a cursed place is a suitable solution?
Because typically churches are filled with learned holy men who can deal with cursed things, are they not?
Pompous idiots.
That's not the churches that I've spent time in, no.
He looks at you and nods, and there's a bit of a grin. Yes, pompous idiots, all of them. Putting a capstone on a problem instead of solving it. Well, shall we? And he starts walking back across town. So, you find yourselves with some time. Paramon parts ways, unless there's anything anyone would like to talk to him about. He parts ways with you and heads towards Lenine's shop, where he's sort of commandeered a desk in the back previously, and you get the feeling he's probably crashing there at night as well. I suppose before he parts ways with you, he would mention a couple of things. He says, when I get back on my feet again, I would like, well, you all have proven yourselves very useful, good friends to rely on, to know. And, when I get back on my feet again, I will find a way to compensate you for this, but I would like to ask for your help in retrieving my spellbook from this Keldra Maloro fellow who you seem to have recently become entangled with, and he nods towards Linalia. As well as something else. I had a home, a sanctum of sorts. Wizards in the towers, of course. The Tower of Storms is west of here, on a small isle just off the coast. It's been now some years since I've inhabited it. I'm almost certain someone's moved in. I would like my old home back, if it's not too much trouble. If I could entice you and your friends into, well, having a look, a knock on the front door, as it were, and clearing out anything that might have moved in unwantedly. I'll find a way to make it worth your while.
Of course. Where is this tower?
I'm actually curious to see if I put it on the map. I did not. Oh, I did.
If you look at the map he posted earlier in Discord.
Yeah, I'll just move you guys over to the region map. It's hanging out down there in the bottom left corner. It's not far.
Is there anything or anyone that may be in the tower that you would not want us to kill?
Well, I'd prefer you didn't kill anyone, but you seem to be exceedingly good at it. So, if someone has moved in there and they're not, he kind of waves his hand in the air nonchalantly, evil. Perhaps bring word to me, and I will have a chat with them. But it would help if you were to scout it out first.
What you guys think? Paimon, we don't need to keep you, but we have a few things that we kind of on the docket.
Yes, not anytime
Maybe.
soon. The tower can wait. It's I just feel as I might wear out my welcome here in Linian's shop. She's given me a place to stay, but well, yes, I long for solitude, a place of my own, and to call home again. Whenever you get around to it.
So should we take our leave? Or where are we right now? Are we still outside of the crypt, or are we down in town?
You'd be back in town. You've been walking and talking on your way sort of back to the main crossroads in town. He actually takes his leave of you and heads back towards the Lion Shield, leaving the three of you in the street, knowing that your friends are nearby.
Yeah, we should probably go meet with Rogar back at the inn. And,
Yeah. Let him and Noro know what's up.
Well, you find yourselves back at the
Yeah.
inn, and I imagine Rogar would be there.
Yeah, so we'd proceed.
What
to
is it
fill him
like?
in
Yeah,
on
so we'd
everything.
proceed to fill him
I don't know where Noro would be. I don't know if he's at the blacksmith's or what.
I think he was going with him.
Oh,
Going with
Nora
you.
was hanging back at the
Yeah, I
inn.
thought he was
think.
hanging back with Rogar.
Yeah, so actually, Rogar, Noro would have Dahlgren that morning, while Noro was sort of hanging out, picking at the last bits of maybe a second or third round of breakfast on his plate, as you worked in back. Dahlgren would have come in shouting about something, and Noro just gave you a quick wave and headed out the door after him.
All right.
A few minutes later, he would have come back, talking about something he had to help Dahlgren with that was urgent, and would have said he may not be available, just for a day or so.
All right.
I think it's going to be a little bit easier just to write him out for the session than it is to have him tag along. I do have his character sheet up, but like if you guys are just going to go do a thing and come back, I feel like it'd be less awkward for me to play him than for him to just have a blacksmithing emergency, working on fixing some AC, some armor class.
Oh, Jesus.
Nice.
If that breaks you guys' immersion, let me know and I'll play Noro. I think I can do it, but I can do it.
That's fine.
Okay.
No, that's fine.
So yeah, we pull Roger over and fill him in, and so I think that we have some options in front of us. What do we want to do?
I have to admit that I would like to find Keldra Maloro, but that doesn't seem as pressing as perhaps some other things we have on the table.
So what is everything that is on the table? Clear out an old wizard tower, find a spellbook, kill a dragon, find a sword to kill a dragon. What else?
I think those are sort of the big three. You know, find the wizard's spellbook, clear out his tower, or go get a sword and then look for a dragon.
Do you know more about this sword, Rogar?
Only legends or stories told of who used to wield it. I've never personally been to the location, but I think I roughly know where it is.
And where roughly is it?
It would be on the road back to Dralamar, about 3 days from here, I think is what we said. 2 and change?
Is there a name for the location, or is it?
I'm just gonna mark it on the region map here. You know what? I don't actually. Let's see if I've got a.
You can use my pink sword icon.
I wonder if I
Does
can
this
just,
sword have a name?
Not as far as I'm aware. It's just a sword wielded by someone who protected towns from dragons.
Do we know, does the sword kill the dragons, or was it the wielder and it just happened to be his sword?
Rogar, make a history check with advantage. Louis, you could make a history check if you wanted to.
Nah, souls do not interest me.
Alright, I said with advantage. Okay, so
I saw 15.
yeah, it didn't do my first roll, which is weird. But yeah, I got a 15 on my first roll.
Weird. I wonder if it's the. Like, did you shift click it to roll with advantage?
Yeah, and it only rolled 1 die.
It's maybe it's the hack that we've, the template hack. It's not coming
That's
through in the
fucking with my
advantage template.
rolls.
Yeah, it's probably it might just be using the single template. You know what? Try an attack roll. See if that try a the attack
With
roll that includes
advantage?
your damage and stuff in it, and try rolling it with advantage. I'm just curious to see if it comes through.
Because I know he was having issues rolling last week.
It highlights everything on my page.
It does on mine too. You have to actually click on the D&D Beyond pop-up, the D20, the red D20 with a B on it. Yeah, there
we go.
I think it might be the same. Yeah, so it used to be that you could interact with the the number itself, but it's like you almost have to interact with the pop-up now. Interesting.
Okay, so I got a 15 then.
Cool. 15's enough. Your knowledge of local history isn't great, but your knowledge of this specific place is certainly better, and this would be a detail related to this place. Some centuries past, a follower of Bahamut, the paladin of Bahamut, Alessandra Tanamir, fought a great green drake, what is purported to be an ancient green dragon. She felled the dragon at this site, but fell to wounds that she sustained in the battle. Her friends, her adventuring companions, built a tomb for her in this place, where they buried both the remains of the dragon as well as her. And over the years, as each of them either died on adventures or died of old age, they were also interred here with their friend. It is a place known to Dragonborn as the burial site of a somewhat renowned follower of Bahamut. It is a place where Dragonborn meet from time to time, and you would know that the survivors of Scales Reach had planned to meet here later this year, just to come together once again after they'd scattered and see how everyone's doing, see where everyone's at. It's sort of a pilgrimage of sorts to gather and a moot to revel in your shared heritage and see old friends before they scatter again. The sword is not really. It might have been mentioned. It might have been something you'd heard of before. It's something you're certainly more aware of now, that you've heard of it from others as well. I think the first to mention it was Nelsendris. But it makes sense that she would have been buried with her weapon. And you can only imagine that if such a treasure was buried there, that there must be some reason that it hasn't been taken, because not everyone reveres a grave site the same way, right? There are tomb robbers and bandits and scoundrels that would certainly find this place and lighten it of its valuables. And I put a marker on the map where it is.
It's fucking shiny. I want it.
The sword or the marker?
I mean, both.
You would know well enough that it is because Rogar likely would have never been there, but he would know well enough where it's at by the description. A day's travel along the Weston Way north of the Edelwine River, and east to the edge of the forest on the shores of an unnamed lake. And so it'd be 2 days and change travel from Phandalin, given that a short day travel gets you to the junction at Low Valley Road, and I think you've made it all the way to the edge of the Wayriding Grove in a day, sort of pushing it. You could easily make it up here in a couple of days. If you left at morning, you'd arrive nightfall of the second day, or you could stretch it to 3 days to arrive in the morning.
So do you think that the sword is that's mission number 1?
If we really want to chase after a dragon, I think having something like a dragon slaying sword would be very beneficial.
Yes, I wouldn't go and take on a dragon without at least attempting to get this sword first.
Now, I don't know how religious Rogar would be, or how much reverence he would pay to heroes of past, or how worthy he would feel he is of taking up such a weapon. There might be some conflict there. That's entirely up to Rogar to decide. But it sounds like the others think it might be a good tool to have in your arsenal. And so I would ask, what would you guys like to do?
How do you feel about it, Rogar?
I think having it to help protect this town and potentially eliminate a threat would be beneficial, but I wouldn't want to keep it. Once
Well,
it's
surely we could always put it back.
once it's served its purpose for our needs, I would like to return it if possible.
Return it to where? The tomb?
To where it rests now?
Yeah.
I mean, okay. What kind of sword do you have right now? What is this legendary sword going to be way better than the sword you have now?
You're just using a regular sword right now, aren't you?
I'm using a vicious longsword. The one we got from Black Spider's sister.
Oh, right.
I mean, yes, it probably would be a lot better than what I currently have, but it's also it's part of a holy site for my kind. I don't know.
What good is a powerful weapon used to vanquish foes if it lies buried in the ground? Surely the
I mean, is it okay? Oh, go ahead, please.
would not the original wielder, much prefer to see it continue its purpose?
I suppose, yes.
And then, I mean, we go in, we desecrate this holy site and steal this artifact. But it's okay to do so for only a little bit of time, and then we put it back. Is it not desecration again when we go back and return? I say we just, if you want it, we go get it, we keep it. C'est ça.
I think it'd be less desecration to go there and see how Bahamut feels. Seeing as the warrior who wielded it was one of Bahamut's champions.
Well, there you go. It's at least worth the trip.
Well then, is there anything that we need to do before we go? It is still early in the day, we can make some progress, we?
Well, we'd be traveling by road for a majority of the time. We could maybe look at getting horses or a wagon.
I have a wagon. What do you need for the wagon?
More of a travel wagon, not a book wagon.
Oh, it holds way more than books. I've been putting things in it.
I do not know what you are putting in it, but yes, it is jelly too.
Nothing, extravagant. A very strange-looking pine cone, a couple of really nice-looking rocks. Just things along the way.
I imagine under like a pile of books and scrolls in the corner of the wagon, there's like a hidden rock collection. And every day, Louis like, this wagon feels a little bit heavier. I don't know what's going on.
I checked with Pierre. He didn't say no.
Maybe horses, but I'm not sure we want the attention a wagon's going to draw.
Okay.
I just
How are we gonna pull Louis' wagon with the horses?
Well, it needs its own horse. Just as a note, like traveling on horseback really doesn't buy you that much over traveling on foot. I don't know. I'd have to look it up to see what it pans out to, but horses aren't really that much faster over long distances.
If you go by the book, yes, but in reality, a horse can travel a hell of a lot faster and farther than people can on foot.
Can they though?
Okay, I'm gonna go get a horse, and I'm gonna set out for an hour and see how far behind you fall.
Yeah,
We bet like what you do with the horses, and then what if they run away, or what if they die? Oh, I feel so terrible when they die. But like it's just not safe necessarily for a horse.
I could always tell them.
Yeah, hey, RF, correct me if I'm wrong, but normal travel speed, per the player's handbook, it's 24 miles a day. 30 miles at fast pace, 18 miles at slow pace. The only difference is at fast pace, you go a little faster, but you have a -5 to passive perception. At slow pace, you can use stealth. There is no real modifier for mounted speed, except in the short term. And that's more talking about like combat or chase sequences where it's 40, 50, or 60 feet per turn depending on the mount. You can also gallop at twice normal movement speed for up to an hour, but that's it. So they don't really, in the grand scheme of overland travel for multiple days, other than from an RP perspective, it makes more sense to have mounts and or a wagon if you're going a long distance. There really isn't a huge value to it.
I mean, it kind of is what it is. I don't know. Like that. I was just googling it. I think I don't know. Whatever you want sounds good to me.
I just don't see a big
Maybe
numbers
I just don't see
difference.
like. Yeah, I don't see.
I'm good on foot.
Yeah, I don't think it's far enough away, really, that we need horses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, Noro's too heavy.
Well, he's not coming with you.
Well, so Rogar's heavy too.
That's true.
And we'd have to get an expensive horse just to tow the wagon. Stupid little red radio flyer.
She called your wagon stupid. Are you gonna take that?
It's just a wagon. It has no feelings. I didn't call Pierre stupid.
Pierre doesn't have the feelings either. You should be saying, I did not call Louis stupid.
How can you say Pierre doesn't have feelings? Look at him.
He is a book. He is a very special book. He is my very special book. But he is just a book.
Well, fine. He's just a book. He could be my friend. I don't. Lunalia talks to your book when you're not around. I'm just saying. She treats him like a person.
I mean, that's on. That's between her and God. Whatever.
So, is there anything that you as a party would like to do before you leave town?
Nope.
You're stocked up on provisions. I can't think of anything that anybody else would want from you. The group of dragon slayers that showed up in town the night prior seem to have disappeared this morning, already hot on the hunt. And other than that, it's fairly quiet around town. Everybody's doing their normal things.
I think if it's early, we still just go ahead and head out.
All right.
Yeah, we might as well get started.
All right. You set out late morning, and let's see. I mean, so why don't you guys tell me how you're traveling? Are you going to take roads all the way there? Are you going to travel off-road? Tell me how you're going to get there. Like, you can take road most of the way there and then cut east, or you can avoid roads if you'd like to. It just it makes a difference in the roles that I ask for.
I would think it'd probably be best to take a road to avoid the grove.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's easier for, towing the wagon. We don't have a reason to not take the roads. We're not being, looked for or anything.
We might also find Ham Sandwich dead laying there.
All right. So as you set out, I need somebody to make a survival check, and that could be assisted by someone else. It's not really a travel challenge because you're taking well-traveled roads.
I can do a survival check.
I can assist.
So with advantage then?
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So as you travel the road, let's see if I can do this in. I believe that, so I think I set this quite accurately. And you guys, I don't think you can see me moving the token on your screens. But 20 miles to there. Did you guys see that animate out on your screens?
It was
We did.
wonderful.
Sorry, say that again.
It was wonderful.
Cool. Yeah, I totally forgot that, of course, pathing works even on this map, and I've got the scale set right. So that's 20 miles and another, 5 miles. What is it? 24 miles in a day's travel. So it gets you to about there. You could camp anywhere around there at the end of the first day. That's 8 hours of travel. So leaving late morning, you'd be looking to maybe call it an evening at 6 or 7 p.m. The sun's getting low in the sky, or you could push on for a little bit and make it either to the junction in an hour or so, or to the river in a couple hours. It's entirely your call. The weather is fairly pleasant, overcast skies. A drizzle or two has swept past, as is common for coastal weather this time of year in the early summer. But a brisk wind is blowing, and the weather systems are moving quickly. The sky clears out towards evening. On your left, somewhat dense vegetation, a few tall trees, and a hill that slopes up out of sight behind the trees. On your right, low brush and grassland that banks away down towards the river valley. You could find a place to camp here, or you could keep going. Up to you.
I mean, we're not in any kind of great rush. I don't think we need to push on after dark. But I'm fine if you guys want to.
Yeah, I think it's 3 days there either way.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we could like move off the road a bit towards the trees and set up camp.
Well, are we setting up camp, or like, do we have your little house?
Oui. Shelby is here. I'm gonna find a little place off the side of the road, a little bit out of sight, but not overly hidden, and pop up my little cabin.
Cool. Cool.
No need to slum it.
You find a place off the road to set up your cabin. Well enough out of sight that it's not going to draw attention. And as you finish the incantation and the building apparates, the sky begins to change colors as the sun heads towards the horizon. The evening goes without incident as you all settle down for the night. Is there anything anyone wants to do before night falls? And is anyone going to be standing guard? Or actually, you know what, RF, refresh my memory. This is basically the dome, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So for all practical purposes, the party is safe within it.
Yes.
Cool.
I mean, it could be dispelled, right? It could be someone could be lying in wait outside for us to emerge or whatever, but you can't throw stuff through it. You can't cast spells through it.
Yeah, what's the name of the spell again?
Leoman's Tiny Hut.
I believe it's Widowgas Amber Dome.
I don't know. I've always been a big fan of Heward's Humble Hovel.
I like that one too.
Nine creatures of
Lunalia
medium size
will
or smaller. Okay.
Lunalia will sit just outside of it.
Ah, here we go. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. Cool. That's good to know. Yeah, and the spell says the dome is opaque from the outside but transparent from the inside. I'm assuming in your version of it, it is more like a proper like cabin with windows and stuff. So to look out of it, you would look out the windows.
Yeah, but it is still like completely impenetrable. You know, like it is still, or there's not like gaps in it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like you can look out the party member could look out the windows to see what's going on, but someone on the outside wouldn't be able to see in. They would just see the building itself. Does the building appear like a normal building, or I think you said it's like purple in color, right?
Yeah, it's mostly, it's just made up of arcane domeness or whatever force.
Arcane fluff. It's just arcane fluff.
Yeah,
It's
well,
fluff.
like it's
so
obviously a magical construct. It's not like it's not camouflaged like a proper.
It's not like royal purple. It's more of like a kind of an opaque milky purple.
Yeah,
smoky purple.
So somebody looking at it would know somebody with some intelligence looking at it would know pretty much right away it's a magical construct and not just be like, why is this cabin suddenly here?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
who painted it purple?
Right. Cool. Well, if Lunalia is sitting outside the cabin, is she doing anything as evening turns to night, or Just enjoying the great outdoors.
She's just enjoying being outside. The weather is good. She's going to re-string her mother's lyre. She'll maybe practice a bit before everyone goes to bed.
Mm. Go ahead and make a performance check.
Jesus.
I mean, one of these days you're going to get a good roll.
Mm.
Not bad. Ooh, -1. Ouch.
Yep.
The sound of strings being tuned eventually turns to rather pleasant, simple but pleasant music. As the sun sets, you are all serenaded by the sound of an elven lyre that is pleasing to the ears for once. As darkness falls, Linnell, you go ahead and make a perception check if you're still outside.
Okay. Perception, you said?
Mm-hmm.
It's green.
Wow, that's pretty good.
I can see everything.
You catch movement out of the corner of your eye as you're watching the last rays of sunlight wink out of existence, and twilight falls across the land. You see a flicker of movement in the trees off in the distance, maybe 60 feet away or so. Then a second one, a third one. Pinpoints of red light, 3 pairs flicker eyes that you see directed your direction. And as you see these shapes move, and your eyes adjust to the encroaching darkness, they're quadrupeds. Perhaps canine, but the shape of their heads is all wrong. They stalk your direction slowly, spreading out, almost seemingly shrouded in shadow. And
Does
then,
this look like a hunting tactic that she would have recognized?
yes, it does. And then you hear the sound. As the one in the middle raises its head to the sky, you get a little bit better look at its face, an almost humanoid-looking face on a large sort of misshapen wolf's body. Red eyes twinkling in the darkness. Its jaw extends, and a horrifying sound pours out of it. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, crap.
The rest of you would hear this sound from inside, but you do not need to make a wisdom saving throw.
I'll cast Mage Armor on myself.
Same.
15 is enough. You steel yourself against the you resolve against the horrific sound as the other two join in with it. But something in deep within your soul grows cold at the sound of it. What are you doing?
She's yelling, "Everyone up! We have company." And she will...
They're now about 40 feet away, and they're slowly pacing towards you, spreading out further.
She's gonna cast Call Lightning.
Oh, shit. Okay, well then we're gonna roll initiative, and I'm gonna throw up a battle map. Yeehaw.
So I was AFK for a sec. Did you stood watch outside? Were you playing your lyre and that's why enemies showed up?
It's possible.
Yep.
I mean,
Cool.
She was
anything's,
playing really quietly.
anything's possible.
Maybe if she'd play shitty, it would have kept them away.
I might have brought more if I thought it was a dying animal.
Yeah, that's true.
If anybody needs to take a couple minutes break, I need a minute to throw a map together.
I'm good, but go ahead and take
I
your time.
don't think there's anything fancy. Just be a grid if you want, man.
No, that's fine. I just need to find a thing.
So, Weebray, can we cast spells out of your thing?
No, you can like shoot arrows out of it, but you can't cast spells out of it.
Okay.
So physical
Okay.
objects can go from out to from inside to out, but not from outside to in, and spells cannot go either. And I can't leave this or it disappears.
Oh,
It renders your wizard useless for the duration. I mean, unless you all stay inside and just shoot out at stuff, and he buffs you guys.
Useless.
I'll be just 1 second.
I mean, sorry. I mean more useless than usual. Does that help?
he can cheer us on.
Less effective in combat. Maybe let's go with that.
Yeah. That's another way of saying useless.
Maybe
You know-
one day I'll work at making it so that I can have a door that opens in and out.
It doesn't have a door?
Well, it does, but the door doesn't actually open. You have to like kind of walk through it, right? Like there's no way to like break the impenetrability of the outside of it, right?
Hmm. I'm gonna put this guy like
Nice.
right there.
Ah, Louis' shit shack. I see.
It's just a thing I grabbed. We'll put Lunalia here, and actually we'll put this like right underneath this tree to give you guys a little bit of, because you would have had some clearing out front. We'll put everybody inside. Yeah, something like that. Nope. There we go. Oh, okay. And let's put our hounds down. Do I have tokens prepared for these guys? Yes, I do. And what did I say? 40 feet? 40 feet away from you. And let's say like that. And that, and yeah, thereabouts.
That wolf's only 25 feet away.
Yeah, we'll put him there. Something like that. Yeah, they're not quite as spread out as that. They're more like that. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so as soon as Lunalia saw that they're stalking, they're in sort of a hunting formation, she's gonna cast Call Lightning.
Get the view set up on stream. And there we go. And let's fix the initiative order as well.
These poor wolves.
I don't think they're wolves.
They are not. Go ahead and roll your initiatives whenever you guys are ready.
We just did.
Me and Louis already did. We
Okay.
all did.
Yeah, we all did. That's why I said these poor wolves.
Pierre doesn't get an initiative, right?
No, he's going to go on mine. He doesn't have a turn independent of me. He does not actually exist independent of me, Lunalia.
I'm sure that is what you believe, yes.
So I got a 20 initiative for Scribble. I got a 15 for Rogar. I've got a 10 for Lunalia, and I've got a. I don't see one for Louis.
You got a 20.
20.
You got a
It was in purple.
There
I had
it
to
is.
reload, but it should be fixed now.
Got it. Louis, Scribble. I think Scribble's got the higher dex, right?
Yeah, Scribble can go first.
I think Lunalia was gone first, and then
Well, mine was sort of pre-initiative order, I think.
yeah, that's what I mean.
There we go. Yeah, so Lunalia would cast the spell, perhaps as she's shouting words of warning. So go ahead and cast your spell.
It's a 60-foot cylinder.
Oh boy. "10 feet tall, 60-foot radius centered on a point you can see within range directly above you.
But she's targeting the center wolf.
Targeting the center wolf. Got it. Do I have a Call Lightning template? Because it's gonna remain, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So definitely want a template for this. Are you kidding me? How is this a 26 by 26 template? Oh, it's 60. Did you say 60-foot radius? Oh god, that's the whole map. Right. when you cast the spell, choose a point you can see under the cloud, a bolt of... So you're going to strike the center wolf with a bolt of lightning.
Yep.
Okay. Each creature within 5 feet makes a dex saving throw, so it's just that one creature.
Yep.
Just the Yeth Hound in the center, and a dex save is 12, which is probably not enough.
It says DC 14, so no.
Yeah, no.
So he takes 18 points of lightning damage. On each of your turns until the spell ends, you can use your action to call lightning in this way again. Yeah. I don't... the 2 is for the additional lightning damage if it were stormy, which it is not.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
right.
quite sure why it rolled it like that, but
It's just the same way that when Rogar swings a longsword, it rolls both the one-handed and two-handed damage, because it doesn't know how he's wielding it.
Right.
So it takes 18 points of lightning damage. This there's a peal of thunder, and the sky suddenly swirls dark above you. And as it does, there's a flash of light, and the ground around the hound in the middle is lit aflame by a massive arc of lightning that strikes down. That is Linalia's turn. I'm gonna say the other 2 Yeth Hounds. Let's see, that one, and well, I guess these 2 Yeth Hounds are... They're basically holding an action as they're stalking forward. And as this happens, I actually need to make a couple checks for them. One of them bolts for you. And attacks. With a bite attack. Does a 15 hit?
oh, probably. Yes.
And I'm just going to show you a picture of what these guys look like, because they're real fun looking. As this large dog... Oh, and shit, they are large creatures as well. I need to make them bigger.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. They're like the size
Those
of
aren't just
dire-
wolves, guys.
the size of dire wolves. As it runs up to you with this strangely furred humanoid-looking face, it latches onto your arm with teeth, fangs perhaps not as long as a wolf's, but painful nonetheless. Dealing 16 points of piercing damage. Ignore the psychic damage because you are not frightened. You're also immune to their howls for 24 hours. That's it for that hound. The other one backs up a bit and actually out into the road. And that is combat. Scribble, it's to you.
So, do I just have to like move one step to be able to cast? Sorry, I can move right out of the house.
Yup, you can literally walk right outside through the walls.
I don't like people taking measurements.
Yeah, it's a tough one because it's center to center, right? I guess you could just go like center to center of that. It's 35 feet, if you're wondering.
No, I think these two have lined up pretty well
Mm,
for a lightning bolt.
Certainly have. Let's really? I don't have a lightning bolt template.
points.
Well, I guess I don't need to drop a template for that. Let's do some dex saves. There's a 1. I guess that'd be for the... I usually just go left to right, so the one in the back saves. The one up close does not. Takes it full in the face. 28 points of lightning damage as a massive arc of lightning shoots out, connecting the two of them. The one in front taking the full force of the 28 points of damage, and the one in back taking half of that, or 14 points. Both of these creatures, their fur is now just smoking as arcs of electricity surround them and ground to ground shortly afterwards, as the beam of lightning fades from Scribble's outstretched hand. Anything else?
Yeah, and then I want to use a bonus action to put a Hound of Ill Omen on the one that's on the road.
Oh shit. Okay. Let me see if I've got your Hound template. I'm sure I have a Hound template somewhere. You've summoned him before.
I'm not sure what we used for it before.
Oh, you know what? If I did it right, hang on a sec. If I did it right, I did it as a player character token, which I didn't. Son of a bitch. Yeah, because
Just use a wolf.
I've got Kern here that I can drag in, but I don't have a Hound of Ill Omen. I probably I probably just grabbed a direwolf before. Let's do that.
It says the Hound uses the direwolf statistics.
Direwolf. It's not a large creature though, right? It's a medium-sized creature.
Yeah, it's medium.
There we go. Grab old Snarl there.
Wow, lucid
Little
reason.
Snarl.
You wanna shoot me his health, armor class, and speed, if you have him.
No, I think I just said Direwolf.
Yeah, I think it's 35 for health. 37 for 37 hit points, 14 armor class, and a speed of 50 feet. Unless any of that's modified by your ability, then that's what his stats are. You should actually see them if you click on the token, and I gave you control of it as well.
I don't have... Oh, wait, I'm on the thingy. I can see it, but I don't see any stats or anything on it.
Not if you click on it?
No.
Weird.
I can see the dots, but I don't see health or anything.
Oh, they don't have numbers in them?
Huh. No, I don't see the dots up top. I can see a dot where I can set an effect.
Yeah, see, normally when I give somebody control over something, they can... whatever, let's just do this. Can you see him now? When you click on him?
No.
Weird.
Try clicking on the settings thing on the bottom left button.
Yeah, I see the name that I can change, and then there's token words and token bars, but there's no actual settings. Like I don't have the 3 bars at the top.
Let me just, I'm just going to open up the permissions to everybody so that everybody can see them. You should see something now.
Now I do.
There you go. Okay. So you can actually track its health directly in there, or I can do it for you. If you just click on the green circle and type in like plus or minus.
Plus and
And then a
minus.
number, it'll add or subtract. And if I remember before the end of the night, I can save this as a character template. We can just drag it in next time, like I did with Kern. All right. So you summon the Hound, and the Hound goes just after your initiative, right?
I think so.
It says roll for it. But
Actually, it says roll for it.
Oh, roll for
yeah,
it.
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, go
Roll
ahead.
for it. Have it go on your turn. Have it go right after you. Whatever.
Do you want me to just use the initiative that I rolled for it? I rolled a 17.
That's fine.
Alrighty. Louis.
So I'll just click my fingers and like the cabin becomes like almost completely translucent, so we can really easily see out of it. And then I will send Pierre. Oh, here. What there? So he just dives out through the wall, bounces out, bounds. Bounds, I think, is a good word for the way that he moves.
Bounce is good.
Bounds out the wall to there, and then all right. So I don't know if this works. I can cast spells through him.
I will totally allow it because that's fucking cool.
Yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't work.
It's like a little bit hacking because I'm sitting here impenetrable right now, but I can still pew pew. But
I mean,
if it becomes,
I mean, yes, it is, but otherwise, what's the point of being able to do that, right? Like, that's pretty cool.
If you had a familiar, if you were using Find Familiar, you could set your familiar out and cast through him. So why not this?
Well, my question is I don't. So if it was a familiar, I don't know if you could really cast through it.
You can cast through your familiar.
Well, right, but outside of the hut, if you can or not, I don't know if that is a barrier for that. I mean, seems like it would work, but I haven't
Yeah, I don't know.
done any due diligence to it.
You know, to be fair, if the hut blocks spells and effects and magical effects, you shouldn't even be able to look through its eyes if the familiar is outside the hut from you. But, you know, all that makes the game stupid. Just do it, man. I think it's an abuse, but it's a cool abuse, and rule of cool always wins.
Well, in that case, Pierre's pages fly open, and all of a sudden, a little red bead comes out, and kind of like arcs and lands right about here, right about there, enough to get a fireball to hit these bottom two.
Fireball. That I'm sure I have a template for. Come on.
Yeah, and I mean, theoretically, right? If these guys are 35 feet away, then from each other, then there is a world where at a point of origin they're all within 20 feet. But the template doesn't necessarily. Well, what do you got? Bump it to the right one square. I was just the bottom two.
You can totally nuke my Hound. It's fine.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I mean,
Bada boom.
yeah. I should click a button.
Yes, you should, and I think that's a dex save for both of them, right? Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Fucking trash ass roll. Look at those ones. 4 ones.
Oof. Well, I'll tell you this. Speaking of trash-ass rolls, both of them fail their dex saves as this massive fireball bursts into the space in front of you guys, lighting the sparse forest about you. And also, I'm pretty sure lighting the trees on fire, right?
Yeah, I mean, if they're living trees, I don't necessarily think so. It ignites flammable objects in the area. So, I mean, green trees aren't flammable objects, but
That's
if there's
fair.
lots of brush and shit, then
The brush, the leaves on the trees are going to be burnt to a cinder.
You're going to have a problem if you. I'd say you've got some time to deal with it, but you might have a problem if you don't do something.
There's smoldering piles on the ground, right? A fireball fucking hit it. Smoldering piles on the ground, but it's not like this is an inferno.
We also just launched 2 big old lightning bolts through it.
Yep.
Yeah, and those didn't have any lasting ramifications, but a fireball does.
They are both.
I
looking very hurt as the smoke begins to dissipate. You see the hound in the back is. I'm just gonna make a couple of dice rolls here and look something up. Yeah, the one in back is smoldering. Bits of its fur are still burning. You know how you ever light the lint on a sock on fire and you see the flame sort of crawl over your sock? It's doing that. Like, it's what's left of its fur is still burning away from its flesh. The one up close they're both just in fact they were knocked flat by it and both sort of got back up to their feet. They both look severely injured. Is that it for you?
We say to
fucking fireball, man. Hound of Ill Omen.
For the record, I've never lit a sock lint on fire just to see what would happen.
Oh, dude, you gotta do it. It's so cool. You just take a lighter and like run it under your sock, and it you gotta have a fairly linty sock for it to work, but it's cool. Like a wave of fire crawls over your sock and burns the lint up. It's neat. That is a 13. Unfortunately, their AC is 14. As he attempts to bite the Yef hound, the hound just smacks his face out of the way.
I think that's its turn.
Rogar.
I'm gonna shoot at the furthest one. That one with the longbow.
Uh, 17 hits and 6 points of piercing damage. Where do you put that arrow? Because he's down.
I guess between the eyes.
Easy enough. Lunalia, a long arrow flies just over your shoulder, striking true directly in this creature's hideous face as it collapses and expires.
I'll do the same thing to the other one. Right in front of Lunalia.
The close one? Alright.
Wow.
The exact same roll?
Yep, I
Wow.
guess so.
Wow. Well, good news is it had 5 hit points left, so it also expires. It drops to a heap with an arrow sticking out of one of its eyes. Is that your turn?
Yes.
The final hound, who, oddly enough, yeah, weird, is the last one standing and the last one in initiative, is going to leave. I'm just looking over his sheet here. No, that's it. He's gone. He turns to leave. I think, Lucid, I think your hound gets a attack of opportunity on him.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know if it can do anything to keep it from running away, though. Uh, 19 hits.
Would knock it down.
Oh, yeah, shit. DC 13 strength. No, it is knocked prone.
I believe it's pronounced Leprone.
Leprone. It is knocked Leprone, takes 9 points of piercing damage, as the hound, as the Seath hound turns to run, your hound grabs its haunch and just wrenches it down to the ground. This creature nearly twice its size. It tumbles to a heap, spends half of its movement getting up, and makes it, I guess, no, you know what? It's gonna turn to bite your hound. Getting a 14, does that hit?
Armor class is 14.
Yeah, so that hits. 13 points of piercing damage to your hound, and then it's gonna move 5, 10, 15, 20 feet away, Noro style, one square at a time, to finish its movement, and that is its turn. Lunalia?
She's going to call down lightning on it.
Zap. There's another as lightning arcs down out of the sky. Dex save. Makes its goddamn. Makes its dex save, but takes half of that lightning damage. Anything else?
She can't really do anything else. That's it.
Okay. Scribble. This Yethhound has now turned and is trying to make an escape.
Well, we don't want that. So, I don't think Scribble would know anything about a Yethhound, about what it is or why it would hunt, or like if it would hunt as just 3 or.
You've all gotten a really close-up look of them. Look at them. I think that a nature check from Scribble definitely wouldn't know about these things. Lunalia might, if Lunalia wanted to make a nature check with advantage, or not.
Don't need
Okay,
it.
that'll work. These are fey creatures, and the humanoid face on the dog's body is enough to remind you of stories you've been told by your druid circle. They are granted by powerful fey to individuals who please them. They serve evil masters like hunting dogs. You haven't seen these fly, but they can actually fly just off the ground. They sort of bound in a way that makes them look like they're flying. But yeah, they are a fey hunting pack sent by someone. What you doing there, Scribble?
Yeah, so she would have told you that these are not natural creatures. Don't spare them.
Well, there's also 3 of them, and I was told to be wary of things that there's always 3 of. I am going to use Subtle and Lightning Bolt.
What?
At the 4th level.
Oh shit.
And watch my screen just be covered in dice.
Nice.
How come I can't see your dice? Are you rolling them in D20 or in Roll20 or in D&D Beyond?
D&D Beyond.
Ah.
Yeah, it's where I roll mine too.
I'm. What's the subtle for? Is that to try and get the cast off without it knowing that something's coming?
That is for the astral shard.
Yeah, remind me
To
what that does again.
move closer.
Oh, okay, cool. So you just burned any old meta magic to activate it.
Yeah.
Cool. Are you teleporting as well?
I'm just gonna move to this log over here.
It does not make its dex save, and it does take the full 28 points of damage. Much like the other two, it is smoldering, a trail of smoke pouring off of it as the flash fades. You teleport close to it. Is that your turn, or do you have a bonus action left to do?
You know, I might as well do bonus action and summon my pink sword.
Do you get a? You don't get an attack with it though, right? You'd
I
have
do
to,
not.
Yeah, you'd have to attack as an action. Okay. The sword appears. Oh, let's see.
It's a good of a attack of opportunity option, though.
Yeah.
There. How's that?
Perfect.
Louis. Scribble just cast this massive lightning bolt that arced out and toasted this creature and then disappeared out of existence, appearing right next to it with a glowing purple sword in his hand. Pink sword? Purple sword.
It's a shadow blade, so
Oh, yeah, like a dark purpley shadowish blade.
yeah.
Yeah, let me redraw it.
Pierre will continue to bound. And another page will fly open, and we'll do it at second level. So 4 little bolts, just pew 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 pew, pew 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 pew. That's one. There we go. We'll fly out with magic missile.
Yeah, there's no way they don't hit, so let's see that damage roll. 4 points of damage.
Times 4. So sorry, I rolled it twice. I guess I didn't want to do it once, but either way, it was the same. So 16 damage.
So as these arcane missiles spiral out from the book, hitting this creature, how do you finish it off?
I mean, they it's beautiful, really, the way they kind of dance in and out of each other, swirling around, and then just into him, and just kind of punch 4 separate holes through his sides from both directions.
Scribble, the creature full run now, as these arcane missiles spiral around it and pierce it from all directions, just collapses, grinding forward into the dirt of the road another 10 feet in front of you as it comes to a stop.
And then, I mean, Pierre will continue. I mean, I can completely see and hear through him, I'm pretty sure. Yes. So he's going to go up and, inspect this thing. I'm just going to chill back here in the hut. I definitely see the potential for abuse, so tell me if you feel like it gets weird.
No, here's the thing, though. It's what is it? It's a 1 minute cast time for the hut, or 11 minutes as a ritual, right? So you can really only abuse it if you can prepare for a fight in advance. It can
Yeah,
also
and
make a
every other
spell.
ritual is 1 action for 10 minutes. But this one is 1 minute plus 10 minutes, because I actually have an ability that would let me once a day do a ritual without the 10-minute timer. So even if I use that, it's still, though, a minute.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, you still have to have that time to prepare. which you totally can. I can't think of that many times where you've had that time. Fights eventually just kind of land in your lap. So I'm not worried about it. It's pretty cool when it happens, and don't worry, man. I can always throw more shit at you. It's literally just copy paste from another page, and there's more bad guys. So as combat comes to a close, you are left with the smoldering husks of these 3 hounds about you.
Oh, that was fun. Does anyone know what those things were?
I know that they were not natural. There's no beast that I know of like that. I have a feeling they were Fae.
One of them kind of looked like Deebs.
The Fae is from the Shadowfell, Louis.
They can be. My brief understanding of the plains from my parents is that both the Shadowfell and the Feywild border our plane most closely.
I guess is this another one of these things that is chasing Monsieur Poiseau?
I think it might be closer to those mushroom gnome things that attacked us when we were getting Paramount out. Those were Fae as well.
Or you think that these are somehow controlled by the green dragon?
It's possible.
Well, didn't we find out that she was closer to Fae than an ancient dragon?
Yeah, did
And also-
Poker tell us that in game or out of game?
Yeah, no, Paramon specifically told you when you said ancient green dragon. He said something like that woman is many things, a charlatan, a trickster, but she is most certainly not a green dragon.
Right.
So it could be that she just, I don't know, summoned a bunch of Fae, maybe, and just they're all patrolling. I mean, we are not too far away from her lair.
It's possible. My understanding of those creatures is that they're hunting packs.
Yeah, but with your dice roll, you would know that they were not. You don't find this specific type of Fey creature just out hunting. These are
they're sent for a reason.
Yeah, they have a master, and they are sent after people or things.
Yeah, they're sent to hunt something down.
Do they seem to be directed towards someone in particular, or just us in general?
Well, they didn't seem to pick and choose who they were fighting. It was us in general, so it's hard to say.
Either way, we should remain cautious. There are multiple people that do not like us. So I'll have Pierre just kind of hang out outside here and keep watch.
the scribble would either, release the Shadow Hound, or it would just, I imagine, dissipate after a while.
It disappears when its target is reduced to 0 health.
Ah, okay, yeah. Then it would have just faded away into dark smoke, as the last hound hit the ground.
Did these things return to the Feywild then once they died?
Oh, I have to look that up.
I know if you kill them with sunlight, they go back to the Feywild. Well, they go to the ethereal plane.
You use those sunlight arrows, right?
Nope. Just normal arrows.
Dang it.
I don't know. Lightning seems to be pretty effective against them.
Yeah, speaking of which, you'd start to see the clouds above breaking up and sort of spinning away into nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I like
What
the
about the
idea...
trees on fire, by the way?
Yeah, Lunalia's, over stomping out small fires. The trees aren't really on fire.
I like the idea that, I don't know, I can't find anything completely in canon for this, but I like the idea that fey creatures, when they die in the material plane, return to nature. That they sort of more quickly decompose. So you might see that, the grass around these creatures is starting to grow taller about them, and roots and vines have crept out of the ground around them. They're starting to be consumed by nature itself.
Makes sense.
I don't know, I just Googled a couple things, and it seems like there's speculation about fey creatures' souls returning to the Feywild if they die. Possible reincarnation or something, but it's not really like it's not clear what happens to their material bodies, like what happens to demons and devils when they die. But I kind of like the idea that they return to nature. Maybe not as quickly as demons and devils fade away, but at a more accelerated pace than rotting meat.
So, because Louis didn't have to leave his cabin, I'm assuming it's still up.
Mm-hmm.
An exciting evening.
And
Lunalia's
it would stand long enough for the party to get there's 6 hours of sleep in their 8-hour long rest.
Yeah, Lunalia's just going to climb a tree beside the cabin and then climb on the roof. And she'll sit up there for a while. She'll do her meditation up there.
I'm going to leave this up to Louis, but does she fall through the roof, or is it load bearing?
No, it's whatever you want it to be. It's load bearing. If he knows that you are trying to be on something, then it'll
Gonna
be
jump onto the roof and just fall straight through it.
Dude, you are no
You
fun
climb up the
whatsoever.
wall, but the roof, like the wall is tangible, but the roof is not.
No, she climbed up the tree and then jumped onto the roof.
Oh yeah.
She wouldn't have jumped on it.
From the top ropes.
Obviously, she's not going to try and jump on it if she's not sure that it's solid. She would have touched the building first.
He's body slamming it.
Yeah.
Got onto the roof. Got it.
Off the top of the cage? Hell in a Cell? Nope. Alright, so, night crawls over the land as you all settle down for an evening's rest. Is anyone taking a watch, or is Lunalia up on the roof going to be enough?
Yeah, she'll take a watch up there and then she'll meditate. She'll wake somebody up.
Okay. Well, I'll skip forward to morning because between the cabin and the relatively high level of our party, and we've already had a fight. There's nothing really in these sparse woods that's going to bother you, or that's really looking for that big of a fight.
So we can take a long rest?
You can absolutely punch that long rest button. Morning comes, and you set out again. We'll just bang over to the main map. And we'll do another... So that's the 20-mile mark there. You could try to push on to your destination, making some Constitution saving throws for every hour past 8 hours of travel to get some additional hours. You could also try and travel quickly, but I will leave it up to you.
I personally don't see a need to travel quickly. The sword's not going anywhere.
Anyone else?
I agree. Maybe we should branch
could-
off probably here, right?
Yeah, we could head off the road towards that mark. But I don't see a need to push on into the night.
Yeah, a mile or something to get off the road.
The terrain here is coastal grassland. Tufts of scrub brush appear here and there, but otherwise it's rolling low hills of tall grasses swept by ocean winds. The smell of salt water is sharp in the air here, and you can see off to the west glittering water, silver waters that stretch a fair distance off. Maybe just a dark sliver on the horizon of the large island of Lyria that sits offshore in the afternoon sky. So yeah, if you want to head in, just go another. There's your 5 miles or so in. You find a suitable spot to camp for the evening, perhaps next to a small knoll that rises up 30 or so feet. That from the top of, you get a good vantage point. You can see off in the distance to the northeast. There's a lake that you'll reach easily mid-morning the next day. Is there anything you'd like to do this evening?
Just while we were on the road, Scribble would have been looking around to see if there was any signs of like a card or something that might have belonged to Magic to Attack.
Interesting you say that. So, no, you actually find that the road is clear, and your day's travel, you pass absolutely no one. I think Scribble's kind of the only... yeah, I mean, Louis not from here. Scribble, you're not well traveled, but being from Dralamar, you have an idea of the traffic that enters and leaves the city. It's a little strange that you travel this road and found nobody. The odd broken old discarded wagon wheel, or what bits of trash someone might leave roadside, the remnants of a cooking fire along the side of the road, that sort of thing. But not a soul in sight. Very, very quiet travel day.
Didn't Ulrich also say that he sent for more militia to show up at the town?
Yes. But I mean, there was no time frame on that either, right?
Would they be talking about how suspicious that seems?
Yeah, I would probably mention that it seems quiet.
Lunalia check to see if, like, how barren does the road look? Would she be able to tell from the most recent wagon marks and stuff?
Make a survival check. I really hate survival as a go-to for everything, but my god, it's a go-to for everything.
Kind of, yeah.
There are recent signs. The way the Earth has moved by, wagon wheels and shoed hoof. The dirt's been turned recently here. You might be following somebody a half a day or so behind. They'd be off over the horizon, but there is recent sign heading north. Less so heading south a couple of days. You might have just hit a lull in traffic.
It's midweek, not much travel between the weekends.
Well, as the evening comes tonight, and Louis puts up the chateau, the chalet, the
Maison?
the maison, the maison,
The mason?
The hut.
the hut.
It's more like a room.
You do see the twinkle of firelight off in the distance towards the northwest. Then 2, then 3. A fairly good-sized camp built. Back towards the road. Maybe... Oh, about there.
How far away do we think that is?
However far you moved off of the road towards your destination, it's back towards the road. So, I don't know, you'd said a mile. I'd kind of move the token further than that, but, I mean, for the sakes of keeping things realistic and that, it's pretty hard to see something from 5 miles away, or maybe you're a mile or so off the road. Mile or 2 off the road.
And it's
Yeah,
where?
from a good-
It's at the road.
Yeah, from a good vantage point, you see back to the road north of where you split off. There appears to be a camp of some sort. At least 3 individual camp or cooking fires have been started there. So there's a pretty substantial camp that's been built on the road. It's close enough that if somebody wanted to go have a look, they could make it over there in an hour.
Do we feel like making friends?
Not really, but I can go and have a look if you'd like.
It seems kind of far away just to go have a look and not talk to them.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the explanation. They ask where we're going. We tell them to dig up a sword from a grave.
Is there a large ogre with a ballista on his back with these 3 people?
No, it's 3 the dots of 3 campfires.
Campfires.
Oh,
Not
gotcha.
sure, yeah.
They-
And they look
3
like
campfires
they're-
is probably a lot of people.
Yeah, the dragon hunters, the dragon slayers would have moved like south and east of you guys. Because I'll just ping it on the map here, but Rogar gave them sort of this location on the map as to where the dragon was last spotted.
Well, hey, they could have gone anywhere though. We didn't see which way they went.
After thinking for a few minutes, Lunalia would say to the group, I guess, I am a little concerned after hearing what we've heard about prophecies and visions of what could happen to Dralamar. I'm concerned that these are people fleeing the city. But, for all I know, it's the militia that Ulrich sent for. That many campfires close together.
Either one of those situations, it seems as though might not really benefit us at all. whatever it is likely irrelevant. Metagaming speaking, I know that I'm sure it is not irrelevant, and whatever it is will continue on in this world, and we will
Mhm.
encounter it. But to our mission at the moment, it is irrelevant.
Like if they've got 3 big campfires, there's probably more of them than us.
Mhm.
They could be hostile. They could want our help with something. They could want us to go away. Who knows? They could be very friendly. We could. My best friend maybe is there. I do not know, but
I'm not often fond of large groups of people, especially ones that would be camping out in the wilderness and wary of others, especially others that don't look like everyone else.
I mean, you literally just described your
Just
party.
describe your
so
party.
us. That is us. We do not like us.
Exactly.
If we were to put up the hut here, and it's pink,
It's not like it glows like an astral beacon.
Monsieur, it is not pink.
my point is that if we can see their campfires, and maybe they could see a giant purplish hut off in the distance.
It doesn't really emit light, though, right? Like, it doesn't glow. It just reflects light, so...
Correct.
Or if it glows, it glows very, very softly.
We could move farther away, but also if we have my little hut, that is a point of defense, and then they would have to approach us. We have a stronger situation. We
I agree. If they're heading north, then we won't run into them. If they're heading south, is there really anything other than Phandalin for them to be heading towards?
Brutal step.
Yeah, so, I mean, the road... Brindlestep is certainly, near the road. The road continues south over the mountain pass and into Balanas, which is a sort of Spain-type country. It's like a Spanish-Italian coastal country south of you guys. It's where Lunalia is originally from.
Oh, okay. I think we would just stay and ignore their camp.
So yeah, maybe we should set up camp here then.
and maybe we keep a watch to see if any of them come knocking.
Yeah.
All right. So nobody's going near the fires then. You're just gonna stay put.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Lunalia will take first watch. She will move away from the hut a ways, though.
Roger's just gonna point. No liars.
What?
No playing your liar tonight.
Oh, no, not if there's other people that close by. It wasn't the. Never mind.
Does he think it's some of the dogs?
Yes. Mainly because I was AFK, and so I saw performance, perception, and then dogs. In that order.
Damn you guys and your memes. That's great. Oh boy. Okay. Evening turns to night. Darkness falls over the land.
So once everyone's asleep, Lunalia's going over there.
A cold wind brings fresh ocean air to your nostrils. As you can see stars wink out one by one as clouds cover the sky. Lunalia, as you head towards the twinkling firelight in the distance, are you moving stealthily, or are you just walking over to say hi?
No, she is walking over super stealthily until she gets within. I'm gonna say 200 feet.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
Yeah.
Not bad. All right. As you get within about 200 feet of the road, you can see just opposite the road 3 campfires. One of them is low and beginning to flicker out. The second and third are still going quite well. Several wagons, a bunch of horses, tents that have been erected, one larger than the rest. And the people that you see crowded about in the sort of makeshift camp space that they've made appear to be soldiers. This looks like you probably wouldn't have seen Dralian Guard, but you would guess they're better armed and armored than what you've seen around town. So you would guess they're from
back
the city
home,
to the north.
when they have massive market days, especially on days where the big horse animal trading happens, there's guards there.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, similar attire. Less, more the typical medieval armor, and less the Spanish conquistador style that
Sure.
that the guard of Balanas wear. But yes, definitely a bunch of soldiers. There's a few rowdy individuals drinking and yelling, but for the most part, the camp is fairly quiet.
Yeah, the minute that she can make out that it looks like it's a large armed military unit, she'll head back.
As you're sort of having a look around, you become aware of someone moving directly your way. Lightly armored, looks like a scout. Hood up. No weapons drawn. And not walking with any sort of urgency, but just walking in your general direction.
And how far away is he?
80 feet, 70 feet. Moving at a sort of a normal pace. 30 feet per turn. So you've got maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds before he's...
She'll cast invisibility.
Okay.
He's within call lightning distance.
The figure stops as you blink out of existence.
I mean, she would have been crouched down anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, she's now invisible.
You can definitely tell by this creature's body language, by this person's body language, that they had seen you and were headed your way, and when you disappeared from sight, it caught them by surprise. A short sword is drawn quietly, and the figure crouches down and looks around.
Yeah, she's just gonna continue backing away slowly.
Okay. Go ahead and make a stealth check with advantage. Whoa.
Do 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 do.
Wow.
Do do do.
You are in tall grass.
I was like, there's no way she's gonna roll less than the 10 that I rolled. Well, you did. The crunch of dry brush underfoot, and you realize it as it happens. The figure turns and looks directly where you're at. It still can't see you, but they look in your direction and start approaching at a measured pace, a cautious pace. Who's there? Show yourself.
She's gonna wild shape.
Okay. While invisible? I think we established you can maintain concentration when you wild shape.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see what you turn into.
Yeah, I'm just quickly bringing up the table.
I mean, it says a spell ends for a target that attacks or casts the spell, but you're not attacking nor are you casting a spell. So I would say that you can definitely keep it.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see what she turns into. Like, you know.
Yeah, I'm quickly looking,
Oh,
trying to find
yeah.
a link. The website has changed.
Something less stealthy. Something. Oh, is the list screwed up?
No, it's fine. It's just different from what I normally use. There we go. She will go for.
I'm imagining something huge, like a giant bear.
She doesn't want to turn into anything that's going to get shot at.
A giant invisible bear.
She'll turn into a seahorse.
A giant invisible seahorse.
She's gonna. You know what? She's just gonna shift into a panther. But she'll do it in a way that I guess the invisibility will fade out, but the panther is crouched in the grass. Moving away from this guy, but if he sees the panther, he'll just think, oh, well, you know, it's a big wildcat that's moving away from camp. I better tell the others.
All right. I mean, unless you're trying to hide, like, he definitely sees the panther. He stops and takes a step back. Easy there, friend. I didn't mean to disturb your hunt. And he slowly starts backing off.
Yeah, she'll start moving away from the camp. She's still looking at him, but she's moving away from the camp.
Okay. The what you can now see is a half elf, probably a scout. Wearing a hood and light leather armor, a short bow at his back, and a long sword in his hand. Just backs away slowly, and when he gets a good distance off, he jogs a few steps further before sort of returning to a casual wander about their campsite.
Yeah, so once she sees him heading back to camp, she's going to turn and head back for the Chez Louis.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else this evening, you wake the following morning.
Upon waking, she would tell everyone.
To find yourself surrounded by guards. I'm kidding. Morning comes. A storm has rolled in. The sound of thunder can be heard in the far distance, and a gentle rain is falling. The sky cloudy, obscuring the morning sun. As the cabin fades, you find yourselves getting a little damp as you look to complete the last leg of your journey. Rogar, why don't we have you make a survival check here as you're sort of nearing your destination.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm gonna say in this case, I think it's probably, I don't think anybody can assist you with this because you're the sort of the one who knows where this place is or has directions.
That roll makes you think you might not know where this place is.
I know it's by a lake. but I don't know where the lake is.
Well, and here's the thing. It's, you know, the directions basically, like, he knows it is east of the Weston Way, you know, somewhere around a day's journey north of the Edelwein River on the way to Drelimar. And that's like, you know, anywhere from about where you guys are at to about up here, right? So that's a good, you know, 20-mile span that it could be in, and along the forest, you know, on the eastern shores of a lake along the forest's edge, and that's kind of all you get. So,
Are you sure you know what you're looking for, friend?
Well, as I said, I've never been here myself, and the instructions aren't very clear.
What kind of lake? Is it a brackish lake? A freshwater lake? A sea-fed lake?
A watery lake.
A wet one.
Yeah, a wet one.
There are many types of lakes.
We could at least move until we see a forest edge.
Yeah. I guess we would move closer to the forest.
all right. You move inland about 8 miles or so over the course of a couple hours. The rolling grassland begins to dot with sparse patches of taller brush and eventually small trees. You see in the distance the edge of a great forest. A forest you're all familiar with, or some of you are familiar with. You've you know, been in at least a little ways before, far to the east. As the trees rise in the distance past, you see the shimmer of a sliver of water off to your left, and you hook north, heading that direction. It does take you some time, but you do find yourself on the shores of a rather large lake. Rains sweep through as morning turns to afternoon, growing heavier as you grow damper. And as you... oh, cool.
Oh, sorry, that was a bit loud.
I like it. And as you skirt the lake's eastern shore, you see in the distance a rocky outcrop that rises up over the lake about 50 feet or so. The back of the outcrop curves up like a wave, almost like the back of a great beast. And as you close in on it, you can see atop it let me just check the map so I'm accurate here. You can see atop it a circle of standing stones. And Rogar, you're pretty sure this is the place.
Rogar, we'll move towards it then. You said there was an opening?
It basically, like, you're looking at it off in the distance. The lake sort of to your left, and it rises up in front of you. You'd kind of have to move a little bit east to the right of it and climb it. It's a bit of a cliff where you're at. You see these standing stones sort of just visible over the edge of this cliff. Here, you know what? It's really easy if I just do this, and I just draw it on the map here in front of you. So if that is the horizon, and the lake is here, and you guys are sort of on the side of the lake walking in this direction. you see sort of this cliff in front of you that rises up. And these standing stones in a circle up on top of it, kind of like Stonehenge.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
Trees off over
head
here.
towards it.
How's that for a crappy drawing?
I see it.
As you approach, the rain softens.
Jesus Christ, I just got it to rain hard.
And as you climb the shallow incline up the hill, the stones come into view. Ancient draconic runes carved into them. Perhaps religious symbols. You see this rise of stones, and beyond it, at the very edge of the outcropping, just past the stones, a lone figure sits on a large rock. You see a sword and shield leaned up against the rock. And as you approach, the figure's chin raises. You see a pair of horns drop behind its head as its chin rises up. And its scales, its bronze scales, glisten in the rain as it just watches you all. A long cloak drawn about it. You see a glint of burnished armor underneath it. The figure just watches you all. It seems to be a dragonborn.
Hi, we're here to loot your holy site.
Rogar will head towards him.
All right. His head
I
tilts
would
to
kind of
one
stay
side.
back.
Rogar, you can tell it's a male bronze dragonborn, probably in his mid-30s, mid to late 30s. He's just watching you. The sword and shield are stood up against the stone next to him. He hasn't reached for them yet.
Rogar will just wave a hand, or raise a hand and just wave, and just continue approaching him non-menacingly.
All right. You walk. He's on the other side of the large circle of stones. These stones stand a good 10 feet across and about 20 feet tall. Large, sort of rough carved stone pillars. 8 of them in a circle that is about 30 feet across. And he sits another 30 feet beyond them at the very point of this outcropping. I guess I can probably battle map this instead of describing it to you. Not that you have to fight, but I found this really cool map. So there you go. How do you approach? Do you walk right through the circle of stones, or do you go around?
Nope,
one side
going
or the other?
around.
Okay.
We stomp over everything that looks like it's even remotely religiously significant.
Yeah, even though you can, Rogar, you can read Draconic, the runes are foreign to you. They have a familiar look, but much like I can read the letters of something written in Latin, I don't understand the words. It is something old that is carved into these stones.
See, I'll just go around them.
The
Can I
lone
cast comprehend languages?
You can. That allows you to read the text, right?
Yeah, I have to walk up and touch it though.
Okay. The Dragonborn just watches all of you. Doesn't say anything. But he's eyeing Rogar. And finally, he straightens up. The time for the moot is not yet, young one. What brings you to this place?
Rogar will pull out the burlap sack that holds Dragonborn skeleton in it.
I'm collecting a bounty.
I wish to bury a brethren, but I don't know where would be where a good place for it would be.
Who is this you bring?
A victim from my clan's village, from Scales Reach.
I do not know if this is the right place for them. I could pray on it. Come. Bring it here. And you don't have to move around on the map or anything unless we go and has a fight. I just wanted to show you guys this neat map that I found. Scribble, as you walk over to the stones, the Dragonborn watches you, but doesn't say anything. In a more hushed voice, as
I just say I say a warm greeting to him as I join Scribble.
He nods in your direction, and as Rogar approaches, in a quieter voice, he just says, "And what of your friends? What is their intent here?"
Well, they came with me to. We're looking for a sword.
And now we get to the bottom of your true intention. It is not for you. It is not for anyone.
How do you know?
You're not close enough.
She's not deaf.
Yeah, but they're speaking quietly. You could make
Oh,
a
if they're
perception
speaking
check.
quietly, then she can't tell.
Yeah.
She's just going to ask out, what do these words mean on these ruins?
Scribble, you're beginning to figure this out as he says it. They are names. Names of those who have visited this site. Names of our clans. All who have come here to pay reverence. All who have come here to worship. They leave their names. So that they may be remembered.
What color is this Dragonborn?
He is bronze.
He'd probably be pissed if I whipped out a Sharpie to sign my name.
I was gonna say, is it like like those bridges that you put locks on everywhere you go in Europe? You just sign your name here?
Yeah, basically. The sword is not for you. It is not for anyone. It is a relic of a time past. It served its purpose, as did its wielder. It lies in rest. I would not let you disturb it.
I know, and I wouldn't want to remove it if I didn't think it would be necessary.
Necessary.
There are dragons attacking.
I suppose you intend to take up this sword and stop them.
Only if Bahamut allows me. Or says it's the right thing to do.
What do you know of Bahamut?
Unfortunately, not much. It wasn't one of the things that I studied with my clan, but he was always there, I suppose. Maybe not directly worshipping him, but he was always in the back of our minds growing up.
Well, he is everywhere. He watches us all. He expects we uphold the highest ideals of honor and justice. Keep constant vigil against evil. Oppose it wherever we find it. Protect the weak. Liberate the oppressed. And defend just order. What have you done to uphold his ways? Tell me, young Scale, how have you walked in his platinum path?
I suppose Rogar would just start telling him everything we've kind of done. Helping clear out Coneyberry of the orc invaders and helping kind of purge the undead threat there.
He asks you, when you talk about the orcs, he stops you and says, "And did you fell their leader as an act of
Yes.
vengeance or justice? Do you know the difference?"
I admit that the line was a little blurred in that moment, but we killed the leader and let a lot of the other orcs go.
Mercy.
That makes up for any of it.
It does. Our great winged lord is fair and just. He looks about the rest of you. It is good that you let some go. Tell me, friends of this one, what is he to you?
He is a very good cook. He's
Perhaps-
very handy in a fight.
He looks at Scribble. And you?
It's helped protect us many times.
He looks at
He did
Louis.
not initially want to come here.
And what of you? As he looks at Louis.
Rogal is he is a hawk. He is what grounds us and defends us.
Often while staying 60 feet back in a hallway to protect our rears.
That was one time. And for good reason.
He also helps keep our barbarian friend in check. He's not with us here today.
I wish that he were. I would hear his words. Tell me, Silver One. Were you to take up this sword, what would you do with it once your deed is done? Once the dragon is felled?
Well, I hope to return it. It's, as you said, it's not mine, but if there is need of it, then, as my friends have said, it might be have better use out in the world to help protect the people that its previous owner did.
And tell me of dragons. What have you seen? What are the threats that we face? For I have seen none.
Would Rogar know what size the white is? Is it an adult?
It's make a nature check. I'm pretty sure that
Oh no.
I don't remember. RF, has Louis seen the dragon or oh yeah, of course he has.
Of course he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shooed it away.
Louis saw the dragon. Louis has books on dragons that he brought with him. He would have I think he would have identified it at that time. So yeah, we don't actually need any rolls on this. It is somewhere in between a young and an adult. It is a young adult. It's a teenage dragon.
Oh, wonderful.
Explains all the lumps on its neck and face.
These guys,
The first dragon menace is between a young or an adult white dragon. It's attacked a dwarven mining expedition and the town of Phandalin.
And you believe
other-
left unchecked, it is a threat that will only grow.
Correct. The town of Phandalin doesn't have a means of really protecting itself. It doesn't have walls or even really a militia. And the other threat is hard to say. She takes the form of an ancient green dragon, but someone that was under her control for a time says that she's not.
There's his lips curl back in a sneer as his fangs are bared. Green. Beware, for greens are ever the tricksters. A green she may be, and if she is not, I do not know if that sword will help you. Well, he claps his hands together. Your purpose seems just enough. I believe your words. Your friends speak highly of you. Three things that I will ask of you. If you pass these 3 tests, the sword you may take. Borrow for a time. The first of these tests. Show me that you know how to use a sword.
Okay.
The second, make me a meal.
Well, that's easy enough.
has
I'd
been-
gladly do that. Even
It
if
has
it
been
wasn't a
long
test.
since I've had something good to eat. I do long for a good meal, and your friends speak highly of your culinary skills. The third task. This place. The tomb beneath it is haunted by the dead. Beyond my power to clean out. Clear this place of the dead that inhabit it. If you should survive, the sword is yours. To borrow.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time we've had to clear out ruins of undead.
Very well then, brother. And he hops down off the rock,
I
Picks-
suppose I accept these trials.
picks up the sword and shield. Let us fight. Show me what you can do. And he moves towards the ring of stones. Noro style. One square at a time. He moves into the circle of stones and proceeds to take up the shield and sword in a defensive stance. He bangs the sword against the shield once.
Before you begin, I don't believe we caught your name.
Of course. It will mean little to you, but as is our way, yes, introductions are in order. And he jams the tip of the sword into the mud, leaving it to stand there on its own as he walks towards Rogar and extends a hand. Zarek and Rathgren, Paladin of Bahamut, and he extends a clawed hand out to yours.
Of course he is.
Of course he is.
Rogar will do the same and grasp his hand. Rogar Namonis. Chef of Silverscale, or Scales Reach, rather.
Well then, chef. Let's see how well you cook. He takes a few steps back, draws the sword out of the mud, wipes the tip off, and let's roll for initiative as you square off against a paladin who a couple of you have met 25 years from now.
Oh god, I'm not going to be the cause of him missing an eye or a horn, am I?
No, didn't we establish that he lost it fighting a dragon?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
It was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. Why? Oh, yeah. Right. All right, as the two of you square off, he begins to start slowly circling.
I only see him on the turn order.
Do you not see yourself?
No.
I don't see himself either.
How about now?
There we go.
All right, what do you do?
Fuck, it takes a minute. I will... I will attack him non-lethally with my sword, I guess.
A 19. Let's see. What tricks does he have? Nope, a 19 hits. Do we have any combat music? You know, some dun 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 dun. A 19 hits as you swing at him. He brings up the shield almost lazily, and your sword cuts in and catches him on the arm, just beneath his scale armor, for 11 points of damage.
And then, in typical fashion, I will shield bash him and try and trip him, or knock him over with my shield.
All right, you're not going to use your second attack. Oh, I guess you're gonna. Yeah.
Attack first, shield bash, then
Right,
second
right.
attack.
Athletics. Let's.
That's a horrible roll.
Let's see what his athletics is. Oh boy. Natural 1.
Wow.
Yeah, he sees the attack coming in, but steps the wrong way right into it as your shield connects with his and takes him off his feet as he is knocked prone. I suppose you probably stepped forward into melee as he is knocked prone.
And then, yeah, just attack him again.
All right, and that's with advantage. Unfortunately, a 16 does not hit. He rolls out of the way, and your blade just catches his shoulder plate as he rolls, and if your turn is done, comes back to his feet.
Yes.
So he comes back up to his feet, rolling to his left. Good. Not surprised you hit me. Let's try something. He is going to... let's go... yes. He utters a holy word and casts a spell. Blinding Smite, and takes a swing at you with his sword. This is going to be a little weird because the sword does a thing. Right. He's just going to swing at you with a sword.
Holy shit!
That's a natural 20.
It's decent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, does a 31 hit?
No.
Jesus.
That would have hit me.
Yeah. So,
Jesus, yes.
It did hit you. It hit
So-
Rogar and you.
I do not use the max dice against you guys. That's for you guys to use against baddies. So I just take whatever the crit roll is. This is a one-handed, so it's 11 plus 8 for 19 points of damage, plus another 9 points of radiant damage. And I need you to make a con save, so that's 28 points of damage total, plus a...
Wait. Did you say you don't use crits against us?
I don't use max dice crits.
Oh, max
I
dice.
just use a dice roll crit, which is how it normally rolls.
Fuck.
Ooh, Ooh. Um, this is kind of only like my second time using the actual character sheets in here. Hang on a sec. Blinding Smite. So his sword blazes with a bright blast of light. You take that additional 9 points of damage, and you are blinded until the spell ends. You can make a con save at the end of each of your turns, DC of 16, to overcome it. And he is concentrating now on this. Yes, he is concentrating. With his second attack, I suppose you're blinded, which means he has advantage on the second attack. He is going to attack again. That's actually a 20, not a 23. He's removing 3 points of attack bonus from his sword and converting them to armor class. So his AC is now 21. So a 20 hits for another 12 points. This is not non-lethal. He is hacking on you. That shield doesn't do anything special when you're blinded, right? Like, it doesn't help you at all?
No.
Okay. And I think that's going to be his turn.
All right. Well, fuck.
So you are suddenly blinded by this radiant blast of light that erupted as his sword hit you, and you can hear him less than 5 feet away from you.
Suddenly very much in pain. I will use my... I'm going to use Second Wind first to regain some health.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And if I know roughly where he is, I'm going to use my breath weapon. Cool. Seeing as I don't think I'll be able to hit him.
Hope you're hiding behind that pillar, Louis.
About to fuck Louis up.
Yeah, the breath weapon is what, it's a 15-foot cone?
Yes.
I think I would have stepped back. Well,
yeah.
or not. Shit. No, I'd be watching.
Well, I mean, that's the collateral damage, right? Like,
Join me on top of these stones.
It's a con save, right?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can roll damage on it, right? It'll pop up.
Yes. Let me just find how much I have to roll. He does not succeed.
So he takes the full 10 points of
yes.
Cold damage?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, he starts laughing. Ha ha ha! Good! Good! Exactly what you should do when you can't see your target. Good.
And then
You have
con
to
save
roll
at
to
the end of
keep
my turn.
concentration.
What's that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No,
If he's concentrating on the spell.
He certainly does. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Nope.
What was your roll for?
You said I can roll a con save at the end of each of my turns. To...
Oh yeah, sorry, at the end of each of your turns. Right. So that's your turn.
Uh-huh.
He is going to continue circling around. Louis, I'll leave it up to you if you got hit by that or not.
Oh, I pranced out of the way. when I saw it coming.
Yeah, you know what? He is just gonna straight up attack you again. That is actually a 16 to hit.
Does not hit then.
Oh, sorry, and you're blinded, so it's it is a 17 to hit.
Still does not hit.
'Kay.
If I'm blinded,
Mm-hmm.
would I be able to use my maneuver to counterattack him? Because he wasn't able to successfully hit me.
I don't see why not. I mean,
Okay, I will do that then.
It'd be a disadvantage, but you can certainly use it.
Use my reaction and expend 1 superiority die to make a melee weapon attack. Well, fuck.
Yeah, that hits.
And a plus a d8.
Plus a d8. And that's all you get with that maneuver, right? Is it just allows you to react attack?
Yes. I rolled a 3 for the additional damage.
Cool. So a total of 10 points of damage. Good! Ah, good! Ow. No, I guess he's gonna attack you again. Nope.
Does he have to roll con again?
He does have to roll a con save again. You are right. Nope. Yep. There we go. Yes. He maintains his concentration. And he's got a +7. I mean...
Yeah.
He attacks you again for a 25 to hit.
Yep.
10 points of slashing damage. And that is his turn.
Fuck. Being blinded sucks.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing I can... Shit. I'll just... Fuck. I'll just attack twice, I guess. Somewhere at him. Not really knowing where I'm aiming.
Unfortunately, 17 does not hit. His AC is now 21.
That's my turn.
Yeah, that is. Make your con save. That'll do. You can see again.
If I can see, I'm gonna shield bash him.
Well, it's at the end of your turn, though, right? You could.
Oh, right, yeah. I'll
could-
shield bash him before I.
Yeah,
I'm
you
able to
just
see.
shield
Would that be
bash. Yeah, just shield
disadvantage?
bash. Is it the I'm not entirely clear on the rules. If you're blinded and you make a, I guess to be fair, I mean, you know, if you.
I won't do it then. If
Well, no, to be fair,
wait till I'm-
you can shield bash him. It just I don't know if it'd be a disadvantage. I mean, it's not an attack. Just do it. Just roll it.
Okay.
Roll it straight up. You knock him on his ass again. That doesn't do any damage, right?
No, it just knocks him over.
Good! It's good how you improvise when you can't see. And as he says that, your vision comes back to you, and you look down at him, and he realizes that. And I suppose would drop his concentration as he hops back to his feet rather quickly. On his turn... On his turn, he holds for a second, and sort of looking over his shoulder, looking over his shoulder, he grabs his holy symbol and casts a spell. He casts Hold Person. Louis, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. Ooh, nice. As he grabs his holy symbol, utters a few words, and turns and looks at you, you manage to shrug off a spell that you're pretty sure would have pinned you in place.
Was I the only target?
Yeah. Impressive. And he turns back to Rogar. Your friends are strong too. Come on.
They make up for my weaknesses.
Remember that. Come on! And he bangs his sword against the shield again.
And I will attack.
And it is to you.
Ugh.
Oof. You're better than that. There you go! Ah! As you cut into him, just matching his AC for 12 points of damage.
I will shield bash him, and then action surge.
Oh, shit.
Yes!
Oh, boy. Let's see. Athletics. Not good enough. He once again goes to the ground. This time the shield takes his feet out from under him as he flips on his back like a turtle, leaving him open for an advantage attack. Oof. He manages to get the shield up just in time to block both of your quick strikes.
Damn.
Yeah, that extra... Oh, no, hang on. Give me a sec. Let me read up on his sword. Defender longsword. Armor class. Remain in effect until the start of your next turn. You must... Nope. They all hit.
Oh, good.
Sorry, both of those hit. So you hit for 7 and 9 for a total of 16 points. Yeah, sorry. The effect, he can transfer the to hit to AC until the start of his next turn. He has to do it each turn, and he can only do it when he attacks.
Plus an additional 6. For more maneuvers.
So what is that? 7 and 9, 16, 22?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that it for you?
Yes.
Real quick, I'm just gonna say Tukin plays that game, and he needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Con save is 21.
Nothing happens.
What were you casting out of curiosity?
Reduce.
Awesome. On his turn, he hops to his feet, continuing to circle. Uh, and oh, let's see. He is going to. He looks quite injured now. I know you've been sort of holding the not attacking lethally, but you still managed to bash the living shit out of him, and he's looking pretty hurt. He is going to. Yeah. Oh, really? There's no way to... well, whatever. Oof, Lay on Hands is a real pain in the ass to use on D&D Beyond. You have to click the minus button 50 times. He's going to use Lay on Hands to restore 50 hit points. As he hops back up to his feet, there is a golden glow that surrounds him. Wounds close, his armor, his clothing even seems to renew and refresh, stitch back together as he hops back up to his feet renewed. Unfortunately, that's basically his turn. He bashes the sword against the shield one more time. Come on, show me what you can do.
I have shown you what I can do. I'm kind of tapped out now.
Is this all you have?
I'll
Look around
attack
you.
him 2 more times then.
All right.
Does that hit first?
No, his AC is 18.
18? Okay. Shield bash again. It's really it's just gonna be the same shit over and over.
It keeps working. Oh, not this time. You go to knock him down with your shield, and he brings his up to match and pushes back against you. You can feel there's real strength in his shove. Anything else, or is that it for you?
Second attack.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Ooh. Again, your sword clangs off of his shield as he raises it. He is... He's going to cast. What does this do? Nope. No, he's just gonna hit you twice. Let's run out of spell slots. There's a 1.
Fucking Christ.
For 15 points of damage. And there's a 2. If that hits.
Matches.
Yeah, so another 9, so a total of 24 points of damage.
Yep, just same shit again. 31 to hit though, fuck.
Ooh, the second one hits. The first one goes wide, but you twist the blade in midair and come back with a backswing and catch him. Good. And another 4, and what kind of maneuver?
Precision attack.
Sorry, say again?
Precision. It's just additional damage.
Got it. He is going to he's going to cast a spell. He casts Hold Person again. This time it's Scribble.
I'll counterspell it.
And he will counterspell your counterspell.
Okay.
In fact,
What save is it?
it is a DC 16 Wisdom save. Oh, wow. In fact, he drops his shield to counterspell, to raise his other hand to counterspell Louis' counterspell. I'm guessing cast through the book.
No, from, or yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yeah, yep.
He drops the shield to raise another hand to cast the somatic for that. And he nods and he says, "Your friends are indeed strong. Don't forget that. They are weapons in your arsenal, as well as that sword is."
Is that a hint of kick his ass?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop down off my rock here.
All right.
Can I see where his holy symbol is?
Yes, it is a rather large, solid platinum dragon's claw that hangs on a like a thick piece of corded leather around his neck.
Okay.
Scribble, if you're jumping in, hit that initiative, yo. And yeah, and we're top of combat. So it's Rogar's turn first. He has dropped his shield.
I will. A grapple counts as an attack, right? So I'd be able to grapple twice.
Correct.
I'm gonna try and grab his holy symbol.
Okay.
And that's athletics or an attack roll.
It's athletics.
Fuck. Fuck.
He sees you coming in, and I'm guessing you're not dropping your weapons at first, right? Like you're just kind of going for like a tackle, and then you're gonna try and grab it off him.
Yeah.
He sees you coming and sort of turns to one side and just shoulder blocks you to stifle the attack.
I'll try and grab it again.
All right.
Thank Christ. I'm gonna
This
shield
time
bash him 5
This
feet
time
away.
you manage to reach for it, sort of using his momentum. You spin around and you grab it, and then with your bonus action, you're gonna shield dash.
Yeah, I'm not knocking him over. I'm pushing him away from me and his shield.
Beautiful.
Christ.
Not even. And this time it's a 5-foot push, right?
Yes.
You push him back to in between the two stones. The shield now, a good 5 feet away from him, as he skids to a halt, reaching out with one clawed hand to steady himself against one of the stones. He looks down and he looks up and sees the holy symbol in your hand, the cord broken, and a big grin spreads across his face. Good. Your mind is a tool, a weapon to be used as well. Very good. Scribble?
I'm gonna cast Enlarge on Rogar.
Zoop.
And then hop back on my rock.
Does that do anything for my AC?
If anything, it makes it easier to hit. No, I don't think it does.
Because I'm not doing so hot.
You'll deal an extra D4 damage, and you have advantage on strength checks and saving throws.
If that's it for Scribble, it's Louis' turn.
He can make a con save. I'm going to try to reduce him again.
Con save coming up. 19.
He makes it.
Yeah, he's got a disgustingly high con save.
Seeing that Rogar's in kind of rough shape, Lunalia will cast a heal his way.
Okay.
She's going to use her Staff of Healing. She can't get in there to touch him, so she's going to have to use a Mass Cure Wounds. So that's 19 points to everybody.
I'm assuming Zerakin doesn't. He's not included in everybody.
No.
Cool. On Zerakin's turn, he nods and takes a couple steps forward. He takes a couple steps forward to you, Rogar, jams his sword tip first into the mud, and bends a knee. Bows his head. Good. You've done well, all of you. I see you all care enough about this one to help him. Strength lies in numbers. It is a mistake that our people have spread over the land, splintered apart, gone their own ways, seemingly as a defense. But we lack the numbers to be effective at anything. It is good that you all stick together, that you care about each other. It is good that you back your friend in a fight. He looks up at Rogar. Next time, ask for help. I did not say duel me. Your friends are there to help you. Rely on them.
Rogar's just gonna collapse like on his ass.
The ground shakes as double-sized Rogar sits down heavily. As he wipes the mud off his blade and picks his shield up, slings it on his back, sheathes the blade. Don't get too comfortable there. You owe me a meal.
Oh, Rogar will just nod and catch his breath.
How are they both looking? Do they both need some healing?
Zerakin's about 60%. Rogar's pretty hurt.
When you healed me, I was at 12.
I see.
Yeah. I think Zerakin was at 10 when he used Lay on Hands.
So she will cast Cure Wounds on both of them, so she'll do it twice. The first one is for Rogar at 3rd level. Not great, sorry.
That's fine.
And then the second one is for Zerakin. Which is not much better. Jesus, what shit rolls.
And he will walk over and place a hand on overlarge Rogar's shoulder and cast Cure Wounds for another 14.
Thank you.
Now about that meal.
Yeah, yes, I will get the meal ready. I can't leave this stone circle while I'm this big, can I?
I mean, yeah, you can squeeze between two of the stones. Just because you're twice your size doesn't mean you're 10 feet wide. Like,
Well,
you're not 5 feet wide at normal size.
what is enlarge increase my weight up to? It's like times 8 or something.
Yeah, times 4 times 8. It's a lot. Yeah, you could
Weight
you could
is
fit
multiplied by 8.
Yeah, you could fit between two of the stones. Turn sideways and shimmy through.
It only lasts a minute.
Yeah, by the time you had the strength to stand back up, you would have shrunk back down.
Rogar will hand Zerakin back his holy symbol. Sorry, I broke the cord.
He takes it back from you and just bows. And he reaches down to his belt and pulls out another one.
Oh. I guess that's smart, actually.
Always carry a second blade and another one of these.
Alright, I will go off to a side, I guess, and set up food station.
Yeah, I mean it's still mid-morning. The storm's died down a bit. The soft rain has sort of turned to mist. As noon rolls around. What is everybody doing? I'm kind of looking to wind it down here because I don't think we can go digging into the tomb, the crypt.
No.
This session, but it will be and I swear to God, relatively short jaunt next session. Is there any conversation anybody wants to have? Shall we just call it here? You tell me.
I can probably just call it here.
I think so.
All right.
I was going to look around on the stones to see if I could find this guy's name.
Make a investigation check.
Yeah, I guess Rogar would finally, look around and see if he can see his clan's name.
Yeah, so you find on the stones there are there's a scribble using your spell to read. There are holy words carved on these stones as well as names. In what you think might be a little bit more ancient form of Draconic. Like, you can read them out, but they don't make a whole lot of sense without you having, a high... without you having a familiarity with their meaning, their religious meaning of the words. Which is kind of my way of saying it's just religious fluff.
Right.
But there are a large number of names carved in here as well, and you can tell sort of by the age of the carvings, just by the wear of weather on stone. The religious words are the first to have been placed, and the names carved have been carved in years, decades, centuries since. You do see Zarikan's name. It appears to be carved very recently.
Okay, I just wasn't sure how long he had been here, or if he was like a guardian of the place.
Well, you could ask him.
Oh, we could.
Next week. There we go. There's our hook for next week.
Works for me.
It's going to be interesting to try and get Noro into this. Does he come running down the road? Hey, guys! Hey! Why didn't you wait for me?
If it's a crypt, he might not want to be a part of it.
No. Well, I'm hoping to I don't know, I can chat with Hummer and see if he wants to like just show up an hour late or something next week. And we can just knock this out. Just for fun.
I'd be disappointed he missed a brawl.
Well, yeah, but he didn't really get to participate. There's your map for next week.
Oh wow,
Nice.
It's a pretty good
Supposed
map.
to look like a creepy skeleton.
This is
It's supposed to look like a dragon.
a much better third-party version of the map from the book. Yeah.
I guess it is a dragon if you look at it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at it like a ghost, like you could see his hands and like the face up there. He's got some headphones on.
Wow. Anyway, that's for next week.
Yeah, I think we'll have to find a way to get Noro here. He'd be down for it. Like, yes, it's a crypt, but it needs to be cleansed. He'd be down for bashing skeletons, I think.
Well, we'll figure something out. I can talk to him and see what he wants to do. Yeah, there you go. Well, anybody, everybody who was watching, thank you, and see you next week.